Hello, Mustang fans, and welcome to another episode of the Mustang Owners Podcast. I'm your host, John Clore, along with my co-host, Mike Ray. And Mike, you know, we always say everyone has a Mustang story. Doesn't that what the sign says above my head? I'm pretty sure it does.
In case you forgot, yes.
And you know, Mike, we've had some great stories. We've had a bunch of stuff going on with young people taking over clubs. We've had a bunch of events we went to, but one that we really didn't want to overlook was an event that happened just before the holiday break. And when people called you and said, "Hey, Mike, do you want to come see the grand opening of the new Ford World Headquarters?" And when they said it was in mid-November, you said, "What?" You know, it's Detroit, right?
Yeah.
It's dear. And you know, I think the week when I got I'm pretty sure it was the invitation came when it was snowing out.
Oh, yeah. I think it was like the last week in October or something.
Yeah, and they said we got it in last. And they said, "Oh, it'll come mid-November, it'll be nice." And I don't know about you, Mike. I was really worried to go to that thing. I thought I'd freeze my goose, and it was cold that
It was
day.
cold. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
Definitely cold.
but it was shocking how many people were there. So the Mustang story for us tonight here on the podcast is I know you brought your camera, I brought my camera. Let's try to tell that Mustang story that happened because no offense to anybody that's crying over the glass house. Yes, they're going to tear it down. I think, Mike, they said the beginning in spring. Are they going to?
Yeah, I heard April. Yeah.
Yeah, and they'll do some abatement there, and then when it comes down, it comes down. And the building was beautiful. We'll show them that. But the Mustang story for us, Mike, was, you know, I took probably 100 pictures of Thunderbirds and Model Ts and everything was there. But there were a ton of Mustangs, and I don't believe that you and I would have had half as much fun going to the grand opening had we not seen the Mustang footprint, and a lot of it had to do with your club.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm sure we're going to see one of those pictures that we can tell a nice story about.
All right, let's take a look and see what we got here for photos. We'll go ahead and go through some of the great stuff that we think. I think
It was a great day.
it was a great day. And you know what? The funny thing was we can have as much fun as we want, but the problem is the people need to know that there's a lot of things that go into a car show like that. And for us, the car show was, man, bring your car, everybody. We got to go have some fun. Let's go out and enjoy what we can see. And I wasn't going to go unless we had the ability to see a show. I mean,
Yeah.
I want to see the show. I want to see the cars. I want to see the people that are there. You know.
Yep,
So for
absolutely.
me, so that was all about that for me. There's nothing more important than having people there that I knew, and let's see it make it happen. So all right, so let's take a little look here and see if we can hear. Okay, all right, so all right, so I've got some photos. So
A couple of them should be really special with great storylines behind them.
well, you know, Mike. I was kind of disappointed, that it wasn't bigger. It really wasn't bigger. It wasn't a big place. It was. I
Yeah,
mean, the space for the car show was not huge.
right.
You know. Yeah. All right. Can you see my first photo there, Mikey?
Yep.
All right. So I walking in. I know you came in through the front because you had VIP access. I mean, you parked at the Ford
The old
conference center, was
CEC
it?
building, yes.
Well, I parked where the visitors are supposed to park, 5 miles behind the PDC Center off of Oakwood. So, folks, if you don't know the Dearborn campus, now when you go to the world famous Henry Ford Museum, the world headquarters is now located right across the street. So, Mike, did you actually park over at the?
Yeah, I
I
parked
think
right behind CEC and then just walked the couple blocks right over right to the
so. You
entrance.
were right. Yeah. So you just walk over, and so I walk through the backside, and who's the first person I see? Gordie Howe.
Yeah, wasn't that cool?
I saw Gordie Howe there, and I go, "Oh my God, Gordie Howe's still here." And I didn't, and so I said to the guy when he walked by me, Mike, I said, "Hey, Gordie Howe, didn't they just build a bridge for named after you?" And so he walked by, and I guess there were all kinds of these paper mache head people of Detroiters.
Yeah, there
Um,
was Barry Sanders,
okay,
Miguel Cabrera, Gordie Howe, and I believe Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, they're all walking around. Then I heard music, and of course they had live music. The bands were playing, and I said, "Do I want to go get in line first? Because I know you wanted to. You somehow got in line because you're Mike Ray, and I wasn't able to get in line. But I went into the. I said, "Oh, look, let's go look at some cars." So the first thing I saw was Mustang's predecessor, which to me, and in one of my books, I think it was the second one, I talked about the Model A, well, actually the Model B with the V8 in it. You know, that was the 32 Ford V8 was really the predecessor of the Ford Mustang because it gave us a V8 engine and a small, nimble little cool looking car. And that started the whole God, I love my Ford thing. So when I saw that, I knew it was in the right place. And then out back, Mike, I saw Mustangs. And I started going down the road looking at more Mustangs, and more Mustangs, and more Mustang. And I thought, boy, this says Moxham on the front license plate of this beautiful baby blue, absolutely stunning example. And this one is, I mean, I don't know who owns this. It's got a black vinyl top.
You don't know who owns that?
Who owns that?
That's Jim Edge's car, the founder of Moxham.
That's his car?
That's his car.
That thing is gorgeous. The founder of Moxham's got his car there, and that's the first one I took a picture of. He's got a Moxham license plate, and I look like it's back from 1978.
79 plate, yes. The black and black one, yes.
Is that cool? Well, so I knew he was in the right place. Then so I started, and I noticed, Mike, during this car show, this was along Oakwood Avenue at the front of the new World Headquarters building. So it would be the visitors lot. If people came from out of town, it wouldn't be an employee lot, but there was a lot of room around all these Mustangs.
Yes, absolutely there was. Well, like you said, it was November, so they were hoping to get, I think, like 200 cars, but I do think probably 60 to 80 of them did show up.
Yeah, but here's this beautiful yellow Mach 1. I mean, the Magnum 500s. But the nice thing about it, most of these guys had room on either side of their car. They did not jam cars into the World Headquarters show. And of course, a 69 Mach, my problem with that is I just...
It's not yours in your driveway?
Yeah, so when you're gonna buy me a birthday present, it's going to be a red 69 Mach 1 with a shaker. That's the way it's going to be.
Absolutely.
Right. So, and then of course, if you have a Shelby, you're gonna get top billing. And there were a couple of really sweet cars. Again, Moxham members bringing their cars, and if you'll note, Mike, behind this red Shelby GT500 with the beautiful stripe, there was an American flag on the back of the car. Of course, they had their setup chairs behind there, and they were in like Air Force survival parkas.
Yeah.
Frozen to death, right?
Yes, it was cold. Yes.
Yeah. And then of course, we had, when I first saw this blue GT, I said, "Is this Jim Morrison's lost Shelby GT500?"
I remember that story on that car.
And apparently it was a blue car.
Yep.
And I said, could this, what we got to do? So we have a story of Jim Morrison's car that Matt Stone researched for us. Our friend used to be the Motor Trend executive editor, wrote for me for FordRacing.com. And he said, "John, I have everything but photos. So what I want you to do, Mike, is let's get the owner of this car and go do a photo shoot with it. And then we can, okay, no, we shouldn't do that. Tell everybody that this is Jim Morrison."
When I was on the launch team with Team Mustang back then, we were coming out, for the 550. I had to do one on all the cars that were in commercials or TV shows or with celebrity owners and things like that. And that was actually one of the cars was the Morrison car.
Well, we can actually illustrate the story, but we can't tell people we actually found it. But wouldn't it be cool?
Right.
Wouldn't it be cool if we did? Yeah. Anyway, so then I saw a car that you and I both know. When you see an all-white 1978 King Cobra with the gold splayed King on the hood, and it says Mid-Michigan Mustang Club on the front, it can only be one person, and that, of course, is Steve Caesar. Well, yeah, Steve and Angie Caesar.
Yeah.
And if people don't know, when they see this white King Cobra with the beautiful orange plaid interior, Steve took this car down to bare metal and put it all back together, nut and bolt, and this car looks like it just came out of the factory. I'm counting on...
A fun fact, John, today's Angie's birthday, the day we're filming this, so happy birthday, Angie.
No way.
Yes.
Well, Angie, happy birthday. Let's celebrate your beautiful... And I understand that Steve just completed a Cobra 2 billboard car for Angie, so she'll have her own Mustang too.
That's
of course,
awesome.
Mike, what would a Ford car show be without a four-eyed fox body?
Yes, absolutely. That was my first Mustang ever.
Yeah, but you know, when you get the red four-eyed fox body, this one had pinstripes, had the TRX wheels and suspension on it, that cool turbo hood scoop. I mean, this car, when I saw this, I go, you know, somebody's got this in a garage because they ain't driving it. Not
Right.
a mission.
Yeah.
And then one of my favorites, at Auto Week, I got to drive the summer special cars. I took a yellow one to the Mall of America, and then I see this red convertible with the white wheels, and I thought, man, they should do an FX package.
Wonder where that came from, huh?
Yeah, it's been a while since I saw a red summer edition with a
You
white
don't
top.
see the reds too often at all.
No, and to see the white top with the white wheels on the red car, I get it now. That really stands out.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think I see the yellows the most, then the whites, and then the red the least.
Yeah, and we did find a white. If those folks that love these cars want to go back to our Woodward Dream Cruise Mustang Alley episode of the Mustang Owners Podcast, there is definitely we interviewed an owner of a white one, and we got to get her back on it and talk about her car. What a story she had. But anyway, a friend of ours, a great guy, had most of the state trooper cars that are Fox bodies in Michigan was a very close friend of ours who would assemble those guys, and they'd always show up at your events, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
And
you're talking about Michael Patterson?
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Patterson was basically kind of like the leader of the SSP group, and very, very sadly, he passed away within the last month. And he was actually at the event. I got time to spend with him there, and just talking about everything. He was actually working inside the new building and directing people where to go on certain things. But yes, it was quite an honor. He was a great guy and always showed up in full force for everybody with Mustang Memories, with Fox Fest, any SSP gatherings around the country, on all the SSP forums, Facebook pages, anything you can think of. Mike was heavily involved with that.
And just the most approachable kind of guy. I just loved seeing him and talking with him. He's really the kind of guy that really makes the Mustang Abbey grow. And his trooper cars were great. His friends are great, and we're going to miss him. Good guy. Of course, one of my favorite cars working at SVT and was the Jesse Kershaw mobile. No, I didn't mean that. I meant when he had the 2000 Cobra R. You know, when people saw that crazy wing and the bulge hood, and that 1 year only engine. You don't see too many of these guys driving them to shows or back, but
absolutely love that car. Yeah,
it's just a lot of people thought it was just the baddest ass SN95 ever made. And it was.
I'd have to agree.
It was Coletti's baby, and that car, there's so very few of them you can enjoy. I'm just glad to see it at the show, albeit man, I don't know if it was snowing that day, I wouldn't have taken this baby out.
Yeah, I would have said that'd be number one. I'd put the Terminator at a close number two.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and then, we was talking about SVT, to see a black Cobra convertible. We had Janine Bay on our podcast, Mike. And remember, we asked her about the black hard tops.
Yep. The removable ones you're talking about? Yeah, the two of our owners have. Yeah.
She was the one that told us they had a couple made for a couple Mustang GTs.
Yeah.
But because of the durability of the paint on those, they said, well, let's do a limited run. And Cobra turned out to be the perfect home for the black removable hardtop. But to see this black Cobra there brought back memories of me working on that. That was a heck of a cool thing, the 1 year only removable hardtop. Of course, the one car that you've never really liked was the teal Cobras. Any teal paint. Now this guy's got the wicked ass hood. He's got the Cobra wheels. But that's something about that teal metallic Fox body, Mike.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a sunny day, but when the skies got lighter, that color, I wish they'd bring that back.
Yeah, I think you'll see that again at some point. That would have been another great color for the FX program as well.
Aha! And you should have been back on the brand team. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, we had to deal with wonderful cars from Carroll Shelby after 2007 and getting Shelby back into the Ford fold. And whenever you see either the white with the blue stripe GT500 or, it turned out my favorite back then was the red with the white stripes. These cars really made a statement, got us back in with Carroll, and he had a good run up until the RTR cars kind of pushed the Shelby name aside. But to see those cars, Mike, they're always going to be collectible.
Yeah, absolutely. And they got the great, huge following too. You got Team Shelby and everybody else, and the Shelby Bash each and every year, which is coming up pretty soon. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Shelby, that name will never die. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Then, of course, I always gravitate to the S197s. Then when I saw this car, I said, well, it's a convertible. Of course, I have a shaker on mine, and mine's a convertible. But Mike, when you see the side badges on some of these cars, you immediately think, oh, is this a 45th anniversary? Because, up until the newer models came along, the 45th was the least produced, lowest production, 2009 Mustang
Yeah.
ever to happen until we got into the S550 era and the Mustang sales really tailed off. But I love to see this car there. And then, of course, we have a friend who, he's just such an S550 guy, and he used to come to the club meetings, and he wouldn't eat the food we had for the food trucks because he went to, what was it, Wendy's, and got the biggie bag. He buys a $5 Wendy's biggie bag, but his S550 Outlaw red with all the black accents, all the what, CDC,
Yeah.
all those mods on that car. He's got an absolutely wicked car. You'd think he'd be buying us Applebee's, but no.
Yeah, I
Right?
love that. It's one of my favorite 550s out there.
Well, I had to put the Outlaw in there. Yeah, I got to see it.
Yeah.
And of course, what would any show be without a bullet? And there was a couple of nice bullets there, but I just for some reason I think the S550 bullet. When you see, and I'm not saying maybe if Steve Denby is listening, because he bought did he have a black bullet or was it a blue bullet with the S197? I can't remember what he bought, but I think what happened was, and we sort of gave it to him. How do you buy a bullet that's not green? And he said something like the blue one or the black one. I think he got a blue one. He said those were cheaper because they're sitting on the deal. So clearly he shouldn't have been on the Mustang brand team, but he's still there at Ford. Steve, we love you.
Yeah.
But when I saw this bullet, there's something about the black wheels and the red calipers on these cars. They're just still wicked looking.
Oh, absolutely.
So, Mike, what would a new Ford car show at the new Ford World Headquarters be without a dark horse?
Right, absolutely. That's the new icon vehicle, right, for the Mustang trim line.
Well, it's going to be, now with the SC coming out, it's
Yeah.
going to be the name to have. So I don't know if this was an owner car, if Ford got it out. We had a couple of them there I saw. And then,
Yeah.
of course, when you bring a GTD out or a GT3 or any of the race cars for the street, this car will pull in traffic, especially dark blue metallic with the black accents, the big wing on the back, the gills on it. When you walk up to a car like this, you're knowing this guy isn't just your regular Mustang owner.
Right.
He obviously has a good lawyer, gets him out of speeding tickets.
Yes.
This thing's freaking beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Too bad I forgot how to hotwire cars because you can't. Anyway, that was beautiful. So then I saw, wait a minute, there's an RTR, and I saw a number on the side of it, Mike, number 0049, I think. And I thought, wow, and he's got the black stripes, and with that color, I said, these things are going to get their own little following, like.
Oh, absolutely.
So they're starting to register and number them, and they're going to have their own little group. You'll see them all parked together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And somebody told one of the older guys, I'm not going to tell you who, Mike, he came up to me and he said, how would you be able to tell a group of RTR owners? And I go,
What's
they're
that?
younger. I said, well, they're younger, right? He goes, no, what did you say? He said, no, they're all going to wear their hat sideways.
RTR is ice. I mean, just the hottest thing in the market right now, and climbing up the ladder and keep getting new releases within the Ford plant. So RTR is definitely on a skyrocket to the moon.
Absolutely. So when I finally got to the back of the lot there, I saw our friend from West Michigan Mustang Club.
Marty?
Yeah. Now, being the president of that club is one thing, but to get his Daytona 500 pace car,
Yeah.
he must have the biggest pace car collection in the States. Of course, they put him, I think he's in the picture there. Yeah, I think he's in
I know he spent some time with Farley that day there about the car too.
Whoa, wow. Yeah, because you don't see the Daytona. Those maybe made a couple of those.
Yeah.
And then I was looking for you, and somebody told me Mike's back there by the Bronco simulator. and I kept looking for you. And anyway, so I went back there and I saw one of our race cars back there. You know what I like about this one car, other than the fade on the door, dark blue Ford? It says Ford Performance on the hood.
Yeah.
Kind of like that group for 10 years. It was a great name for 10 years, wasn't it, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah, anyway, so then they said, well, keep walking. You got to find Mike Ray. And guess what? I look by the Bronco and I see Mike Ray and your wife, Tracy. I go, oh, my God. He's like 2 steps away from the Bronco simulator. How was it?
Good. Very, very good. I've been in it before, so it is a cool experience. And for those who had never been inside of a Bronco or wanted to know the feel of it, it was a great, great experience for them. So it was a very nice attraction to have there.
I was going to get in line after you guys, but I realized that by this time I couldn't feel my feet. It was too freaking cold. Yeah. So I said, well, no, I have to go back up near the front. So I started walking up back towards the building, and I said, I know Mike is going to be inside that building. You're going to be talking to people, but I wanted to go up where the building was and take some shots in there. And did you get in? I know you got in a chance to see the Heritage cars as well. So I walked up and took a photo or two, and then I took a picture of this building. It almost looks like waves of glass. I mean, I was stunned that the sky cleared up, Mike. The sun reflected off the building. It looks ultra modern. And I was surprised the number of people that came out from all over. It wasn't just Detroit or Dearborn. People from all over the country wanted to be at the grand opening of the new Ford World headquarters. Kind of cool.
It only happens once. So, yes.
Right. So as I walked by the Ford racing area, I saw the Ford Performance race cars. And the funny thing was, the logo police didn't have racing, wasn't out yet quite. And you couldn't get anything that said racing on it. But, Mike, everybody got a Ford Racing T-shirt.
So, okay. I didn't even see those.
Well, they were handing them out I saw 1 million people out at this time. But you'll notice the line there. And again, since by this time I couldn't feel my knees, I was frozen to death, I decided not to get in line for the Ford Racing T-shirt some other time. Anyway, So there's that beautiful building. I don't know how you got this shot because you were far away. That's when they put the banner up off Oakwood Avenue. I think that was during the reveal ceremony. And there's you with some guy. Who was that guy that you were standing with? He's got sunglasses. Somebody said, hey, do you know who that guy is? And I said, didn't he used to own the Detroit Lions?
So, funny story for all you Mustang listeners and enthusiasts out there, especially of the podcast. I've been in this business for 21 years in the hobby, deeply, heavily involved. And one person that I never actually got to meet in person was there, and I did get to meet him that day, so it is checked off the bucket list. And I got to spend some time with Bill Ford Jr. there, and it was great. He asked about the club, asked about the podcast, got to talk a lot about it, talked about the history and everything. So it was something I'll never forget for the rest of my life. That was the first time I ever met him in person. Also, Jim Farley was walking around, got to meet him. I've met Jim many times, but got to speak with him for a little bit as well. So all the shooters were there, but Bill was definitely the highlight of my day there, since it finally marked that box off my bucket list.
And he's got his shades on. You're smiling next to Bill. This was one of the classic photos. I said, Mike finally got his dream to hang out with Bill.
Got it. Yes.
Good job on that. And of course, when I saw the line, Mike, you can get inside the building, and I don't know how many floors. I know they went up a couple floors. But that line. That line was around the building and then down the sidewalk. And then I kept trying to squint up by the front door to see if I knew anybody. And of course, I think you were up there pushing people aside. Was that it? No. Yeah. So then I said, I'm in the farthest line. I go, wait, do I see Mike? Is Mike Ray up there? Could he possibly
have got him? Badge line was a little bit quicker. Yes.
So anyway, a shot you took, you went into the design and prototyping shop. And looks like they had a scale clay model. Did you actually watch the presentation, or just did they let you walk by the shop up there? What happened up there?
They were giving presentations of how everything works in there, and the little small scale model. But yes, it was really cool, and they kind of educate the people on how the process works, especially if they've never been in there before or had no clue. It was, like I said, another very nice added attraction for the people that were attending.
It looks way different than if you've spent any time at the old headquarters. You went downstairs, you went into the design center. It was like you're in the basement. The lighting is all fluorescent, the old hallways. This looks so ultra modern and cool. What a different environment to design and do clay modeling in, Mike.
Yes.
A totally different view. And then
Yeah.
you had this car here. I don't know what this car was all about. They looked like they had it taped off. It was and you looked like you're in that. They had that like rotunda area, or was it just a stage?
I believe
Well, those are the export tail lights on the car, and so I
Yeah.
don't know if they're looking at it under different lights. They had the copper wheels, I think. And all these people were crowded around. I thought, man, I didn't know they actually had cars up there for you guys to look at.
Oh yeah, there was all over. One of the GTDs was upstairs as well.
Wow. Yeah. So there's one, and I saw. Now they didn't allow you inside the tape, right? You just had to take
No.
pictures.
Correct.
So thank you for going in and taking these pictures, because by this time I was standing by the side of the road with a piece of cardboard that said "Frozen, please help." Frozen.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Great shot though of you inside with that beautiful blue GTD, that wing on the back. Really cool that they brought that in there for everyone to see. And then of course in the lobby. Oh, let me go back. Excuse me. In the lobby. So I don't know what this wall was. Oh, Mike, was that color? Because I saw this. It says exit. There's stairs there, and then I saw somebody went up a wall, and it looks like they had. Was that color samples up on this wall? These little.
Yes, it was all the color palettes for all the new cars, and yes, that was a really really cool wall that they did, and a lot of people were taking pictures of that. So it was a nice once again nice cool little attraction that people see all the different color choices.
That is crazy. I've seen the paint bubbles that they've handed around at meetings.
Yeah, that's basically what they were, just larger sizes. Yes.
That's insane. That's a really cool thing. Anyway, so I said, yeah, there's Mike with his picture at the brand new Ford World Headquarters. And of course, you got up there in the front. I don't know if you had limited access. You knew somebody hanging out with Bill Ford. I go, how does Mike, he said, hey, Billy, get over here. Let me into the front door. I'm not going to be in this. But it was really cool. And of course, I did sneak back there and I saw this really cool red Mustang, which I think you had something to do with back in the heritage area of the new headquarters. Didn't you help?
That's one of my favorite stories about this whole day too. Besides the Bill Ford thing, this is the really cool story. So that is Joe and Lily Arante's car, now owned by Angel, the daughter, and Joe Jr. So that's their car. And as far as I know, John, I could be wrong. I didn't see another one there. Mm-hmm. But as far as I know, that is the first car that was ever displayed in the old world headquarters and the new world headquarters. So I'm sure there'll be more to follow, but that was definitely the first one. So when they called and they said they were looking for a very nice 65 Mustang, I said, I got the perfect one for you. And what a telltale story, bookends on that. That car was displayed in both world headquarters on prime display. And the family is nothing but amazing. The Arante family is just, I can't speak well enough about them. And he's another one of the founding member team of Moxham. So that car has been very prestigious and very, very well earned and respected throughout its life.
Beautiful red original car. Just to see that first gen, and there they are. Of course, you've got a great picture with them. Of course,
yes,
I wouldn't expect anything less. Anyway, and then you wanted to see a lineup of you hung out with Parasac. So I think the obligatory photo you'd have to put in there was the shots of all the Boss Mustangs. And there were
Dave
several.
was there, but he came a little bit late.
Yeah, I did see him there, and he said, did you see where Mike Ray was? I go, he's somewhere down there near the Broncos. That's all I know. But he said hi. And, of course, there's a beautiful shot you took of the building. What a different view from the glass. There's glass, Mike, but it's certainly not the glass house. It's just a totally different vibe.
Literally, the glass house has been there, obviously my whole entire life. And I was literally born and raised as a child with that always in my backyard because I was born and raised in Dearborn. So that glass house meant a lot to me. It was probably the most monumental building of my lifetime ever that I could relate with.
Very cool. And I appreciate you getting that shot. And of course, before you have to leave, you probably knew one other punk guy around there. It's probably has nothing to do with Ford Motor Company. But and the fact that when the CEO points at you like you're somebody, I thought, what? How did you corner Jim Farley?
Yeah. I was just walking by. I was actually going to talk to Marty, and Jim was coming back from there, and I was heading towards Marty, and we just crossed paths and talking, and told him we need to get him on this podcast. So, John, that's another part of your homework. We need him and Bill on
Well,
ASAP on here for these guests
I think
to talk with the brass of Ford Motor Company.
that's totally crazy, Mike, because you're the ones with the hanging out with Bill and Jim. I think you're going to make those phone calls. God knows I got to get near retired. But
I'll be like, do you remember us talking about this at the World Headquarters opening? It's time to come to it, yes.
well, what we do when we invite them, we send them that picture with you and them. Remember this when you said you'd be on? And then what you do, Mike, is they don't remember what they said to you. So you just say,
I think I'm going to have Edsel send them a note.
Yeah, we say you promise. On this day, you promised you'd be on the podcast. Here's the picture of you promising. So what day do you want Donna? Yeah, but Mike, thanks for all your work getting those great pictures in. And I was kind of melancholy about the day. I know it was cold, and I was just happy to see the cars and meet some of the people that brought Mustangs. Because what is a grand opening of any headquarters without the Ford Mustang being there? But I still feel my heart's over there on Michigan Avenue with the Glass House. This is a beautiful building, and they did a great job. The event was killer, and they had a bunch of other Fords there. But Mustang owners out there who came to the grand opening and for who were there in spirit, thank you, because yes, what is Ford, Mike, without the Ford Mustang?
Yeah, the most iconic vehicle in Ford history. So yes.
Well, you and I we're gonna go across the street when the wrecking ball knocks down the Glass House. We'll take some pictures and reminisce about that place. But I hope everyone out there enjoyed our little walkthrough of the grand opening of the brand new Ford World Headquarters in Dearborn, right across Oakwood Avenue from the old proving grounds, of course, the Henry Ford Museum. Mike, what a day. And hopefully they'll be able to do another 125 years from that location.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, brother. All right, folks, don't forget. That's right. But I'll be there. I'll be there in a statue. Folks, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see this content spread around. We got to beat that YouTube algorithm. Grab your Mustang Owners Podcast, wonderful merch from the svtstore.com, just like Mike's wearing there. And we hope to catch you at an event or a show soon. We're going to keep on bringing it to you. We do have updates coming on how we're going to improve the podcast, our new show. Thanks for everybody that sent in comments and notes. We love you all. Until next time, we'll just have to catch you down the road.